Hey guys, what's going on? Welcome to Walk with Anxiety. Welcome to my channel, the very first episode. The reason why I'm having this channel is because I originally had a Facebook group where I helped a lot of people overcome their anxiety, and they are the people who gave me the motivation to create a YouTube channel because they believe me explaining things in person is better to understand than just writing it on Facebook. So here I am, and I hope that I can help more people to overcome it, and I can help you to overcome your anxiety and panic attacks. I have one commitment for you in this channel, is that I will tell you the truth and nothing but the truth. I'm not gonna try to sell you anything, not gonna my goal is not make you feel better. My goal is to actually help you recover from anxiety and panic attacks. I have suffered from anxiety and panic attacks for over 10 years. So, I didn't know what it was at first, and I would like to spend the first episode just to tell you my story, so hopefully you can relate to it. Back in when I was 20 years old is when I had my first panic attack. Most people who suffer from anxiety and panic attacks, they believe that their journey starts from the very first panic attack. So I'm just gonna follow that pattern and say, well, yeah, mine started when I was 20 years old. But when I explain later to you, you understand that actually your anxiety started way before your first panic attack. Okay, so when I was 20 years old, I was sitting in class in the University of Chicago, and suddenly I felt very uncomfortable. The feeling where you feel like, like maybe your shirt is too tight or the room is too hot. Suddenly I felt like that. And then next come, my heart starts to beat a lot faster than normal. Like it's not crazy yet, it just started like speeding up. And then my breathing started to get shallower. And I started to freak out. And next comes the drop. If you have panic attacks, you will know what I'm talking about the drop. The very split second where everything just seemed just to drop, like your whole body just to drop, like your heart stopped, your breathing stopped, everything stopped. And after that drop, it's a rush of adrenaline in your body. And then where it's like hell break loose, right? My hand would start trembling and shaking so badly. My vision started to go in and out of focus. And I was freaking out, so I grabbed my book bag. I rushed out of the room. I rushed out of the class and I called my cousin. I told him like, hey dude, you gotta take me to the ER. I think I'm having a heart attack. So he took me to the ER. He took me to the medical center of UIC when there was like 20-30 people waiting. And they told me like, you know what, just have a seat and wait for it. I'm like, have a seat? I'm having a heart attack and you told me to have a seat. So I told my cousin, you know what, take me to another ER. So he took me to Rush University, where they took me in. They did EKG, they did blood work, chest x-rayed, and they couldn't find anything wrong with me. They told me like, your heart looks pretty good. We can't find anything wrong with you. But then they decided to keep me overnight, and they did a few more tests. And then all those tests came out negative. So I felt relief. Like, okay, it wasn't my heart. But we all know that we can never let go of the feeling of the panic attack, especially your first one. So I would keep thinking about like, what the heck happened to me in class? So a couple of days later, when I went home, that's when I had my second attack, and the third one, and the fourth one, and hundreds of them after that. And my life went downhill after that. Okay, at 20 years old, instead of going to the mall, instead of going to the movies, parties, I was just basically going to doctor to doctor, hospital to hospital. And within the period of 2 years, I went to the ER 39 times. Not 5 times, not 10 times, 39 times. I went to the ER more than people go to the movies within 2 years. Okay, and at that age, instead of looking for looking forward to a new iPhone, looking forward to a new laptop, looking forward to a new album that's coming out. I was just looking forward to my test result, just to make sure that I was okay. You know, like normally when you go to the movie theater, you look for the best seat with the best view. I was just looking for the one that closest to the exit. You know, like people with panic attacks, you know what I'm talking about. Everywhere you go, the first thing you do is to map out your escape plan. You know, where's the door? Where's the exit? Where's the bathroom? You know, so just in case. You know, when you go to church, you just sit at the back, like the very back, right by the door. You know, so you can escape in the moment of panic. And so my life didn't get better. It actually started getting worse. I get every single physical symptoms that anxiety brings. Like you name it, I had it. Okay, and I will explain to you about each and every one of them later. But as of right now, we'll just focus about my story. So later I started to avoid. You know, I couldn't go to school anymore. You know, sitting in class was so uncomfortable that I quit school. I didn't tell my family. I went to the lake. Every time I told my mom, hey, I'm gonna go to school now. So I went to the lake, and then later on just come home from it, and she didn't even know. You know, so I stopped going to school, and then it got worse. I couldn't drive anymore. You know, I gave up driving, because what if I have a panic attack when I'm driving? What if I get dizzy when I'm driving? You know, and so my world became smaller and smaller, and then it got even worse. I became agrophobic for a year and a half. I could not leave my house. You know, I remember sitting in my room, looking out the window, watching my nieces and nephews are playing in the backyard with my mom. And my mom just told me like, hey, you know what? Come out here, play with us. I mean, deep inside, I wanted to go out to play with them. But then the little voice of anxiety in my head, like, you know, what if you get dizzy? What if you pass out? What if you fall? You know, so I felt safe inside the house. And now later on, even within my house, I couldn't leave my room. You know, I didn't eat with my family. I didn't eat dinner with my family anymore. I waited for them to finish dinner, and I just went out there, grab a bowl, fill it up, and bring it back to my room, because that's where I felt most comfortable. I stopped taking shower. I was afraid that the shower is gonna raise my blood pressure. You know, and what if I fall in the bathroom? Even when I use the toilet, I leave the door crack open a little bit, so just in case I call out for help, people would hear me. You know what? The way I took shower, I actually sat down and used the shower head and just try to clean part of my body. I couldn't stand up. I didn't want to stand up. If I have a towel next to me, just in case I have to rush out, I have a towel right there. And that was my life for 10 years. You know, and at one point, when I look at my mom, it was really hard on my mom, because my dad had a stroke and I'm her only son. So she only had 2 men in her life, and they were both down. You know, so I felt really bad for her, and then I was like, you know what, something has to change. So I went online and I started looking, and I found a book. That book saved my life. Okay, and then I found another book and another book. I read tons of books, and those actually gave me the understanding of what anxiety and panic attacks are. And I promise you, understanding is the most powerful tool to overcome this disorder. The 3 books that I read that I recommend you to read, first is Dare. Second of them is Hope and Health for Your Nerves by Dr. Claire Weeks, and At Last Alive by Paul David. Those books helped me and actually got me out of anxiety, and I recovered from it. I'm consider myself fully recovered. But I want to tell you the truth. Remember, this channel, I tell you only the truth. Recovering from anxiety and panic attacks takes a long time. It takes commitment. It takes determination. It takes courage. And most important, it takes patience. You know, I know it's a lot to ask for patience, especially with people with anxiety and panic attack. You guys been patient with it for probably years, okay? But I promise you, follow my instruction, follow my explanation, and you will recover. I'm not special, guys. I'm just a very normal guy. I have no special talent. I consider myself pretty weak, you know, but I recovered. So I promise you, you can too. Okay? And if you see that you can relate to my story and my journey, then stick with me. We get out of this together. Okay? And if you find this video helpful, please give us a like, subscribe to the channel, you know, and give me a little motivation to make more videos for you. And the next episode, I will specifically talk about what is anxiety and panic attacks and why you have them and other people don't. Okay? As for now, remember, you will and can recover. Have a good day, guys.